We just talked about slurs. Notice how there are no slurs here. That is because this is supposed to be one, and it's impossible to do on the piano. This is supposed to be one onset of all of those instruments playing one really lush, magnificent chord. The only thing we can do on the piano to kind of simulate that is go. But on the piano, because we're not connected to the string, we can't go anywhere with it. Once we play those notes, that's it. That's all the control we have until the next pitch. So compositionally, that's what this left hand is about. It's to help show if a string player was crescendoing through their held pitch, how would they do that? And what would that sound like? So this shouldn't be played like this is a cello going bum, 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 bum. It's not that. It's the entire orchestra going into that chord. So the left hand should be less pokey, not pokey. Don't let the notes stick out individually, but that means maybe all of these notes in the left hand get subdued quite a bit so that they're present and they're just helping to drive the phrase forward and show a little bit of crescendo from beat to beat. Notice how all of the notes in the left hand are there, but they're not distracting us, right? And they're not making us feel like there is a line underneath. Even here in measure 5. Everything is just an extension. If you could, try to imagine all of the notes that are stacked in 2-beat groups, like this in bar 1 and this in bar 2. And then bar 3. Truly, that is what the whole lower part of the string section is doing, is all of those together. That's what's in my mind. And then that. All together, and now our perception of that is totally different than, which alone sounds kind of disjointed, especially if we play it the wrong way. Bum, bum, ba, da, 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 da. It sounds almost robotic. So, okay, link all that together. And if you want to, take both of your hands, starting in measure 5 like we just did, play all of this as a blocked chord. And hear the new kind of voice leading that's present. It's a different perception. Yeah? Continue to think bigger than just the piano. And think about that sound, the sound like we talked about with the strings. And how does that change how you articulate every single note, right? And as you go through and you identify where all those slurs were throughout the piece and you give an instrument, how are you going to change the articulation that you play with to show the color of that instrument and to show the character of that line and to bring it out? Not in a way that's distracting from the main melody, but in a way that shows that it's still important. It's not just going to get buried and shoved to the background.